Hello everyone! Today I want to share something that I'm pretty excited about finally getting in, and that is the G.E.M Lilimon and Mimi figure produced by MegaHouse. It comes in the special MegaHouse shop box that all the figures have come in so far. It's the smallest box I've gotten, and in the front it just says Mega Shop. It has the series and the characters. The top has the same kind of information, and the bottom just has the same kind of information as well. I'm going to go ahead and take her out of this box so you can see the figure box. The box has this pretty sky background and a nice little pink ribbon announcing who the characters are at the bottom. It also has flowers scattered throughout the box as well as little petals. And I think that they just did a wonderful job. It shows the figure in many different angles. It shows you how to put the figure together as well. And I really like how this box looks, and I think it fits Mimi and Lilimon really nicely. The bottom even has some flowers as well. It's not just plain. And the top has a nice little tear shape at the top and some more clouds and petals. Without further ado, let's take Lilimon out of here. Here's what the characters look like and encased in their plastic prison, and everything's held together very nicely. They followed the same pattern for the base that was used with Takeru's figure, TK's, and I like that about it. I didn't really like the one they used for Matt and Godorumon, so I like that they stuck with it normally and didn't use like grass or something for this one as well. Something I liked about this figure is just the background of it, because it has more of the, sky, like mountains and the flowers, so you can easily use this as a backdrop. The base is a nice clear pink color, and it has flowers scattered throughout it, which I think is a very nice detail. And it says Lilimon and Mimi on it, as well as the MegaHouse information. I think I'm going to use this. After taking a look at Mimi, I did notice that my figure, and I hope it shows up on camera, if not I will put a picture, has this little paint mark right there on the tip of her nose. It's like a reddish pink color, like I believe it's the color on her dress, and I'm not really sure why she has that paint transfer right there, and it's a little bit of a downer. I suppose I can clean it with a magic marker and it'll come right off, but no one likes seeing that kind of thing when they first get their figure outside of the package. Her hair is also not very nice quality. I would have preferred something a little nicer. Like, I feel like the top of her hair, the fringe is a little rough, like the paintwork. I felt like it was a little rough at the top. You can see the seam lines on the strands of her hair pretty easily. They tried to put it on the inside though, so that is something I commend them for. So it's not as obvious. There's a seam line right there throughout the top of her head, which I believe is unavoidable with this type of thing, and MegaHouse figures do tend to have that sort of seam line. Her ponytail is kind of rough as well. There's like a seam line right here, and if you can see it, it looks pretty rough right here, which I don't really like. It's also kind of rough right here on this strand of hair. This one right here looks kind of like, I don't know, it has a rough texture instead of being smooth hair. That's what I'm trying to say. And this is kind of present in a few places here. You can see the seam line right there a lot better. You can see how it's all rough and not nice. Kind of grainy, I want to say. It's going to be hard to capture, but the inside also has like some kind of grainy, like just, I don't really like how they did the hair this time around. They didn't do a very good job. I wish they had done better. The shading is nice. I mean, that is what I can say about it, but I wish that it wasn't so grainy in so many places. Her face is very pretty, and I like how they painted the eyes, but I think that the little mark on her nose kind of ruined that for me. Like, I would have had a better experience if she didn't have that on it. Also, Takeru's gem was really nice and pretty and shiny, the one on his forehead, or on his hat, but this one isn't as nice quality, and you can also see that it's kind of like not painted all the way right. I will put a picture so you can see it a little better. Her gloves are alright. They're painted okay. The lines could have been a little bit better. And I also feel like, I don't know, it just feels kind of unpolished, like the knuckles. If you can see that it's like not too polished right there. I guess it's not that big of a deal because they're kind of like, I don't know, they're gloves. But I think I'm being a little critical at this point because of the hair. But I don't know, I think they could have done a little bit better on this figure is all I'm trying to say. They did a nice job on her dress. They have seam lines also on the dress, but they're very unnoticeable because they worked it really well. Like, there's some seam lines going around this side right there, but you can't really tell unless you're looking really, really closely at the figure. Same thing on this side, there's a seam line going down like this, but it's very, very minute. You can't tell unless you're looking really, really close and really examining the figure. The paintwork on the dress is alright. They did the best job on the dress. It has some nice shading, and there's some nice wrinkle work, as is common with MegaHouse figures. There's a little spot of black on the dress where it shouldn't be, where the belt is. You can see it right there, right next to that seam line I was talking about earlier. There's just a little speck of black out of place, but that's really the only problem with the dress paintwork, as well as the little brooch that isn't painted all the way as it should be. The shoes are okay. Their shoes, I mean, they could have been painted a little bit better, I think. I feel like throughout the figure, it's a little rough. They could have painted things a little better here and there. I still enjoy it because I really like Mimi's character, but I just wish they had paid better attention to detail with this kind of thing. As you can see, like, some of the black isn't where it should be. Other than that, it's nice on the shoes. And she has some nice little white underwear, so I'm not going to show it on camera, but she does. The sunflower looks pretty good, I think. It's a sunflower, so if there are a little, like, paint defects here and there, it is a flower. I mean, not that big of a deal, but I didn't really see any, like, obvious, oh no, this is wrong with the paint on it. Has some nice little leaves. And you can see where you have to break it apart so you can put it in Mimi's hands. Although it isn't free of defects, the paintwork on Lilimon is much, much nicer. I like how her eyes look, and I think they did a good job on the sculpt for her. Here's the top of her head. You probably won't catch it on camera, but there is a little bit of green, just a little bit, very small speck of green on the back of her head. Other than that, her hair, or petals, look pretty nice. Here, her hands. And they did pretty okay, I think, on the nail polish for her. I really like her design. I like the cuffs on her sleeves. How they look is pretty nice. Her leaves right here are really nice and shiny. They have a really good finish, and I really like how it's shaded. So it's lighter in the middle, and then it gets a little bit darker at the ends. And there aren't any really paint defects on this at all. These like vines right here are nice. They have little thorns and they're painted pretty well as well. It's a little bit awkward to show you what she looks like. Her dress looks good. You can hear my dog drinking water in the background, sorry. But her dress looks good. Here are her shoes. And I just really love Lilimon a lot. Her design is beautiful. I just wish Mimi had been paid as much attention as Lilimon was when it came to paintwork and sculpting. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and put the figure together so we can take an overall look at the finished product. Oh, I forgot to show Lilimon's like action piece, like the base of the figure. So here it is. Here's your effect part type of thing that she stands on. It's kind of like almost transparent. And there's an obvious seam right here so you can see where the pieces were put together. It's not like done seamlessly, and they didn't make it minute as they did with Mimi's dress. It's just pretty obvious that there is a seam right there. They couldn't really mess up on the paintwork on this, so everything looks good and it's not rough or anything like that, thankfully. Down you go. Be very careful when you take the flower apart, which the first part came out pretty easily, and what I do like is that they use metal pegs for the flower right there. As you can see, that's pretty nice. I like that they didn't use plastic. But you're gonna wanna, the bottom one's a little tougher, so just twist and pull gently until it comes out, because this is a fragile piece of plastic. The overall finished product looks really nice, and I do like how the figures come together. However, I do want to mention that you have to be very, very careful when you're putting the sunflower into Mimi's hands. The bottom part, like that was harder to take apart, was very difficult to put in this hand. Didn't want to push up any further, and I didn't want to push down any further, so I feel like this is slightly more bent than it should be. It should be straighter. But once you get them in there, there's also some paint transfer. Some of the at the top there was some paint transfer, so you saw some brown on the stem of the flower right there. I didn't really see if there was anything like that at the bottom, but I did notice the paint transfer at the top. So I'd be careful with Lilimon's hand. Might get some of that green on it, I think, so you have to be kind of careful and like monitor that. Okay, let me show you. Hopefully you can see the paint transfer. If not, then I'll just take a picture of it. I think I did my best to hide it. Like you're supposed to be able to hide this little piece right there behind Mimi's hand, so it's not as noticeable. But it was difficult for me to do because she didn't want to push this down any further. This piece right here didn't want to go any further down. And I don't even know if the whole metal is hidden and it's all one part of the stem, because I can't see what's going on down here. But thankfully it was able to hide it. I just wasn't able to hide the top part. And I feel like I really wish they didn't have this leaf right here. It looks nice, it's pretty, and it does give a nice little overall, like, oh look at the flower stem to the figure. But like I constantly thought I was gonna break it when I was trying to shove that piece of stem down Mimi's hand. So I do wish that they hadn't included that particular leaf. It might not have looked as nice, but it would have been a little easier to put the figure together. And Lilimon doesn't want to really keep her hand here. Like it keeps like you have to really try to push it in a little bit just so and make sure she keeps her hand in the stem right here. And she doesn't really put her other hand like it's shown in the picture, and I don't know how I can modify it so it comes out like it's supposed to. My dog just decided to kiss me. I'm sorry if you hear little noises in the background. But the scene is still nice, and I feel like it is pretty. There are some defects, especially in Mimi's hair Lilimon came out really nice. I think they did a wonderful job with her. There was a little bit of green where it shouldn't have been on top of her head, but it was such a minute detail, and everything else about her looked alright. I didn't really see too many obvious, like, oh my gosh, you know, there's some grainy texture here in her hair or anything like that, like there was with Mimi. So they did a pretty good job on Lilimon. The only problem with this figure was actually Mimi, and I do wish they had paid a little bit more attention to her, but this was the cheapest figure in the line so far, and I suppose I didn't spend too much on her, so it's not that big of a deal. I just want to make sure that these problems are known to other people who are interested in getting this figure as well. So just so you know, don't spend too much on her because she does have problems. But I hope that this helped everyone and that you all enjoyed this video. If you're looking for Mimi, I hope you're able to find her. They are really pretty, and I'm just glad I have another one of the trainers in my collection. I hope I can get everyone, well, I hope I can get everyone that's getting released in North America. But see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!